Hello, everyone. We are into the last section, last chapter. So we're going to do 14.1 homework. And let's take a look up here and see what do we have for homework. So 1, 3 through 7, 9, 11, 14, 21 to 22. Wow. That's not that many problems. So start with number 1. It talks about a translation. So they will give you a translation. And this is where you have to read carefully. Please. So notice it says, find the figure whose image is given. So here's your line. This is how things got moved. This is the after. You are asked to find the before, aka the pre-image. So make sure you read that carefully. Okay. So again, this shape right here, that's fantastic. But that is the image because it says to find the figure whose image is given. So you need to find the pre-image. Where would that be located if I moved like this? Okay. So you're kind of undoing it when it says that, right? All right, let's continue on. So I think then we have 3 through 7. Find the coordinates for the image under each of these. Okay, so this is kind of just saying, hey, I'm going to tell you how I'm moving a point. I'm going to add 3 to the x and subtract 4 from the y. You go do that. So if they had started with the point 10, 20, then you would write down 13 and 16 because you brought x up by 3 and y down by 4. All right. So there we go. Find the coordinates. So find the coordinates of the image was question 3. This is where sometimes students get in trouble because they start going very, very fast. They're like, oh, okay, this looks great. Find the coordinates whose image is the following. So once again, these are the image. You're trying to find the point that got you there. So they're asking you for what's the pre-image. In problem 3, the one we just did, it said find the coordinates of the image. So all of these are the pre-image, and you have to find the image. Okay, so again, this is where you might want to use your highlighter. I would encourage you to do that. Okay, on each of the following, what does it say? Draw the image. Got it. So this is before I do anything, and they want the after. Okay, let's see here. So again, this one I don't think is that bad. You just find the points, move them as they're moving them, and you can kind of get a chance to see how does this slide. It's a translation, so it's just a slide. Consider the translation x, y, x plus 3, y minus 4 on the following coordinate system. Draw the figure whose image is shown. So they're showing you the image they want. You tell me how I got there. Okay. Number 7, find the figure whose image was obtained by doing this. So you need to find the other one. Okay, so be really careful as you read through these. I think that's probably if I remember back to the last time that I assigned homework out of this section, students struggled at times with reading it. They would say, okay, I'm going to find the image, but the directions say we already have the image. You need to find the pre-image. Okay, question number 9, for the following figure, find the image. Okay, so once again, this is the starting place. They want me to find the ending place. And it's under a half turn about O. Got it. So what would a half turn look like? And let me zoom in just a little bit because one of the fun pieces about the half turn is that everything is then on a line. So if you're looking at this one, I would recommend that you do the following. Find this line that goes from O to this piece, and then take that same length and go in the other direction. Okay, make sure those are the same distance apart. Repeat that process for the other point. So if I bring this one down, right, think this distance on this line going down over here. So find that point. Okay, and then find the third one. Okay, so just again, use your ruler to draw the line that goes straight through and make sure it's a line. It goes out the other side and then find that distance, wherever that distance is. And then you can find what you'll have is you'll have this, what is this other shape look like? Because you'll have your 3 points right there. And again, it was twisted. Twisted and rotated. Okay, so that is number 9. I think I said 11. Yeah, 11 next. So the image of AB under a half turn is given. Find AB. So again, make sure you're reading it carefully. The image is given. So this is the image. They want the pre-image. What would that look like? Okay. And let's see here. Yep, I think that's that. That's 12. So let's move on. And did I sign 13? No, I did 14. 14 and then 22 to 23. So 14. For each of the following points, find the coordinates of the image under a half turn. So find the coordinates of the image. So they're giving you the pre-image. What would it look like? And then the last two are 22. On dot paper, draw a tessellation of this. So I have that dot paper in class. You can pick some up for me if you want. If you're doing this online, you can Google dot paper and you can bring up a blank page, draw this shape, and then show how it tessellates. Okay. So at the end, you'll have like a whole bunch of these shapes already done. And then 23, that was the last, right? 22 and 23. Yeah. So now tessellate the plane with the following right triangle. So how would you do that? There are actually many ways to do it with a right triangle. So I'll leave it up to you. The one I showed is pick one side of the triangle, find the midpoint, and then rotate, create the rotation there. Is it possible to tessellate the plane with any triangle? Why or why not? That's the last little piece there. Okay. Produce a tessellation of a plane using a combination of regular octagons and squares. Not an assigned problem, but a super cool GeoGebra problem because take a look. When we have our beautiful octagon tool, especially our regular octagon tool, right? And how many vertices? Let's go 8. This is a regular octagon. And we just built it, and I know it's a regular octagon. Now, what's really cool about a regular octagon is if I was to measure the angle here, right? And it says, let me get that out of the way just so we can kind of see a little bit better. It says 135 degrees. Then you're like, oh, okay, 135 degrees. Cool. But watch this. I'm going to highlight this entire thing, and I'm going to push it against itself. I'm going to translate it by a specific vector. Watch what happens. See? I got another one of them, right? Now, I am going to hide that line segment. No, 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 no. Bad. I'm going to hide that one. Okay. And let's see here. I wonder if I can go. I'm going to take all these points off now because I remember what I did last time. If you're watching the other videos, I totally screwed that up. So there we go. I'm going to hide all those. Okay. And there we go. Perfect. So now select all of these objects, right? And then do a translate by vector. Watch this. I'm going to move it down. And what you can see, this is a very popular tessellation, if you want to be perfectly honest. It's a big one. And it's a big one because of, one, it's utilized a lot. It's utilized in a lot of places. You've probably seen this at a few different restaurants, probably, because you have a beautiful octagon and then you have this nice square in the middle. And you know it's a square because if you look, we already know that this angle here is 135 degrees, and we know this is 135 degrees, right? So that total adds up to 270 degrees. But if I was going all the way around, that's a circle, which is 360 degrees. So when you subtract, you get 90. And that means this shape inside has to be a square, which is super cool. So you actually can create, let me get rid of all my drawings. You can actually go in and create a tessellation. And all you're doing is translating, right? From one to the other. And you can just slide it and create copies. So there you go. So yes, you can absolutely do that. 25, 26, I'll leave the rest of it. That's the end of the homework piece. Awesome. Hopefully that's cool. Let me know if you have questions. I can meet with you online, Zoom, on campus, in person, whatever you need. I want to get you through this class. So off you go.